Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to Politically Unhinged. As always, I am your host, Anthony Rader. And today we are going to be talking about the polling going on in this election cycle. Now, the polls in this election cycle are honestly very, very skewed to Kamala Harris. All right. Now, what we need to do is that we need to go ahead, we need to figure out what is the reason for that. So historically, what happens is that these people are going ahead and they're not accounting for the deficit that they already implement in each polling. So Donald Trump statistically always polls better around 3 to 5% on election day. And this is something that they need to go ahead and take into account. These polls are changing every day, as you guys say, but there's more to that. Trump is also polling extremely well with independents. Trump is going ahead and he's polling at I believe like about 56% with independents right now, and that is with the third parties. So we need to go ahead. We need to break this down for you. So I already went ahead and I filled out an election map with all the states that are obviously going to be going for Trump or Kamala Harris very easily. Yeah. And quite frankly, as we all know, it's all just going to be down to a few states. So what we really need to talk about is how does Trump ensure that he keeps on having that momentum in these states? And why the hell do the Democrats think that North Carolina is going to be a swing state this year? It's not. North Carolina's not on the board for them. Same with Texas. For some fucking reason, they've decided to think that Texas is on the board for them. Now, what we really need to do, like I said, we need to just talk about every little aspect that the media is getting right and what they are getting wrong. Now, the media is getting a lot of shit wrong this election cycle, like they did in the last several. And quite frankly, we are all not surprised by that. So let's go ahead and take a look at these individual states and what Trump has to do to ensure victory on November 5th. Now, as always, Maine and Nebraska do have a toss-up in their states because of the districts. So we will be looking at pollings for those as well in order to show what is actually correct. So let's go ahead and take a look at this right now for you. So right now, as I said, I already had some stuff already filled out for you guys, so we don't have to go through that bullshit. So right here, what we're looking at is the electoral map, is how it's going to be standing as of right now. Now, these are the key states that are highlighted, as we all know. Some people don't think New Hampshire is going to be in play for Republicans, but I can tell you for a fact that it is in play. New Hampshire is going to go by at least 2% either direction. It's not going to be any bigger than 3%. So it's in play for everyone. Now, let's go ahead and see what the polling's at for Trump in Arizona. So in Arizona, as we see right here in our little pie chart, it's a dead heat. But, like I said, Trump polls very well in Arizona on election day. Yeah. So on election day, Trump in Arizona typically he polls was about 3 to 5% better, and they had it at a dead heat. Now, the reason why they're doing this with every single poll that they've been putting out lately is that they've been targeting people. So these polls, what they do is that these campaigns or whoever will go ahead and they will call these pollsters and say, hey, we want it to look like this exactly. So if we actually go back historically how Trump does in Arizona, we will see that Trump will win Arizona by a lean to likely margin. Now, the next state is actually the one that I am very excited about. That is the state of Nevada. So in the state of Nevada, as we can see, they are pretty dead even, according to the polls. Now, this most recent one by Cook Politics has Trump up by 3%, which, in all honesty, is very close to how Trump will be doing. Now, in the state of Nevada, Trump typically polls like about 3% better. So this win margin is actually a lot higher for Trump. Trump is actually up by 6 points in Nevada. So what we can do is that we can put Nevada in the lean Trump territory. So in this market right now, Democrats, so Kamala Harris has 221, Republicans have 251. Trump only needs 29 more electoral votes. So, sorry, not 29, 19 more electoral votes. So what Trump can do is that he can go ahead, let's say Trump wants to go ahead and pick up Pennsylvania. Boom, he's at 270 right there. There. Easily wins. Election's over. Trump has 270. But right now, I want to talk about another way that I could see this actually happen. So I want to talk about Nebraska's 3rd district, because that is a very competitive district for Trump and Kamala Harris. So if Trump goes ahead and he polls historically like he does back in the day with about 2 to 3% on tax, typically, he's going to win by a tilt margin in Nebraska. All right, so now this is where things get interesting. So Trump and Kamala Harris, like I said, they're pretty close in a lot of these states, but we have to understand that these polls are fucking ridiculous. Thing is that in this situation, I do not have Trump winning Michigan. I think that when Kamala Harris went ahead and picked Walz, the guy that likes to drink freaking horse semen, she had basically shored up her win. Now, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to place Michigan. I'm going to give that to Kamala Harris. All right. Now in Wisconsin. Just give me Wisconsin. So Wisconsin, they have Kamala Harris up by 3 points in Wisconsin by most recent polling. But the thing is that like all these different pollsters that you see, these guys typically lean to the left. Even the independent center leads to the left. Okay, college school, it leans to the left. Took political, leans to the left. Because you can go ahead, you can hire these pollsters and say, hey, I want the polling to show this way. Now, historically in Wisconsin, Trump likes to performs like about 4 points better than he polls. So, this moment, we can go ahead and say that Trump will win Wisconsin by a tilt margin. By tilt margin for Wisconsin, folks. Now, give me a second. I have no clue what's going on with my computer. So, okay. Just give me a second here.
No, because it was like he texted me and said the air conditioning still working. And I told him, I said,
oh yes, Vance does need to stump like crazy in PA, Michigan, and Wisconsin. You're gonna go ahead and see Trump win by that margin, with JD Vance going ahead and helping him out. And the reason why my audio is choppy right now is I do not know where exactly my actual mic is, so I do apologize for that. But let me check if I can find it. I don't know where my mic is, so we're going to have to just deal with this today. So. Okay. All right.
mm-hmm. Right. All right.
All right. Sorry about that. Once again.
All right.
And so.
Well, if I don't hear from you, I'll know that you're talking to somebody else. All right. Okay.
All right. So, like I said, I think we can go ahead and put Wisconsin in the tilt Republican. So, right now, we got Trump at 267, and we have Kamala Harris at 222. Now, what Trump needs to do here, he needs to either win Georgia, New Hampshire, or Pennsylvania. Now, if Trump is within spitting distance in New Hampshire, let's say that he loses by 1 to 2%. Right. So Trump still has a way to win. So all right, sorry about that. So Trump wins if he also gets Wisconsin. But like I said, there's just so many options for the Trump campaign here. There we go. That explains it. Okay. Yeah, there's so many options. So we're at 262. So Trump literally just needs to go ahead and pick up Georgia. Boom, 270, which is very possible. Trump can easily win Georgia. What he needs to do is stop bashing Brian Kemp in Georgia. Period. He needs to stop it. Like, granted, look, do I like the guy? No, not necessarily. But he just needs to stop talking about the guy. Right. So, in Georgia, as we can see, according to the latest polling, they're pretty neck to neck. Now, Georgia, historically, their polls are very, very good. But in the state of Georgia, Trump typically polls about 1% better. Now, we're going to talk about the state of Pennsylvania, though. Is the state to watch early on in the election, saying that, hey, whoever wins the state will win the election. So that's true in some ways, and some ways it's not. Now, the thing is with Kamala Harris going ahead and backtracking her ban on fracking, which we actually know she still wants, and saying that she wants to ban assault weapons, it's not going to help her. Now, these latest polls are showing that she's up by 2.8%, by 2.2%. That's well in the margin of error. And like I said, so we see the New York Times here, very left-leaning. Cook Political, left-leaning. Franklin and Marshall doesn't really pull that wide of a range. Matter of fact, you can see it all here. The biggest polling that we get is from Quinnipiac. I don't know. But even then, 47 to 50, margin of error, folks. Thing is that in the state of Pennsylvania, Trump actually won it in 2020. He actually won Georgia in 2020 as well. Now, in the state of Georgia, they actually found millions of ballots showing that Trump actually won the state. Now, people are going to call me crazy. Yeah. So, like I said, 3% right there. People are going to call me crazy right here. Trump is going to win Pennsylvania by a lean. He's going to win it by lean Republican stats. So that is above 3%. Trump's going to win Pennsylvania over 3%. The only swing state that I can actually see going to Kamala Harris is Michigan. But she's going to win Michigan, if she does, under 1%. And Trump can easily win Michigan as well. Trump can win Michigan fairly easily. The Trump campaign needs to just go ahead and pump more money into Michigan and paint that picture of how freaking of how terrible Kamala Harris actually is. Now, Cole, so what if Trump gets New York? So I don't think Trump will get New York. I do think that New York will become a swing state within the next two elections. If Trump is within 10% in New York, the election's over. Trump wins. Done. Keep in mind, we have to see that. So all of this stuff, complete bullshit. All right. So what's going to happen? So Trump's chance of winning New York, you guys are asking, under 2% right now. Trump's not going to win New York. Sorry to break it to you guys, but New York is going to be a swing state coming up in the next two election cycles. Now, as we all know, these polls are complete bullshit. And the reason why is that Kamala Harris recently became him, the candidate. Kamala Harris recently became the candidate. And what fucking happens is that everyone gets this damn boost as soon as they announce their candidacy and right before the convention. So right now is that we're seeing this fake sugar high that people have for the Kamala Harris campaign. It's just how it is. And like I've said before, these people contact these polling places saying, we want the polls to show this certain way. I've done it in politics, teaching you guys the ins and outs of what we do in the political world. If we want to go ahead and show that our candidate that we want or the candidate that we're working for is doing a lot better in the polls than they actually are, we will actually hit up these polling places saying, hey, we want to show that we are winning by a 3 to 5 point margin. And these people actually will go into that. And how they do this is that they go ahead, they look at the voter rolls, they see how you voted, because that is information on our side. We can see how you voted in the last several elections. Now, what we're seeing with this, though, is that we're seeing when they're putting up the polls, they're looking at the strong Democrats. They're getting the strong Democrats, and then they're going to go for their lean Democrats. The strong Democrats, they're going to go ahead. Let's say that the polling is 1,000 people. They're going to get like about 300 strong Democrats. That's 150 lean Democrats. They're going to get a good amount of independents. For this case, let's say 100. All right. And then we're going to get to our Republicans. So they're going to get the lean Republicans. That's going to be like about 100. All right. And then your strong Republicans, you're going to get like about 200 of that. You're going to get about 200 strong Republicans. So these polls are skewed in the direction of the person that they want. But we have done this in politics for decades. This is why when people go ahead and cheer that this freaking camel toe Harris is up in the polls is fucking ridiculous. This stuff doesn't happen. It's just that simple. I don't know about you guys. I haven't been polled. And the thing is, though, too, whenever you're polling people, they're going to call thousands of people. A lot of these people aren't actually going to tell you who they are voting for. So, that's just that. Gravity Turtle over on YouTube said, any chance we'll see some dissenting delegates at the DNC next week? We're going to see about 1 or 2, not enough to go ahead and get rid of Kamala Harris as the candidate. The thing is that the DNC needed to go ahead and codify her candidacy on August 6th. That was the deadline in a lot of states where she could go ahead and be on the ballot. Now, I'd still need to do my research on these other states, though. There's a few states that I believe she may or may not be on the ballot because the reason is that Biden needs to be dead or impeached. Now, the thing to look out for is that debate, though. Actually, I'll even say it, though. If anyone actually sits down and interviews her legitimately, that is the downfall of Kamala Harris. That's the downfall of her. Now, Kamala Harris could have been smart and picked Josh Shapiro, but quite frankly, she's not. But We know for a fact that Kamala Harris is not going to go ahead pick a Jew just because they're Jewish, and she's an anti-Semite and actually wants Palestine. Now, what? I do have word though. I would say that Trump is going to be holding a town hall on Fox if Kamala Harris does not. Let's go ahead and accept the debate. And I have a whistleblower telling me that it's very close to the VP, confirming everything you get that we've been saying. They have confirmed that there's AI generation and that they've been paying people to go to her events. They've been shipping people out all over the country to make her look popular. Now, I can also confirm this, though. If you're scrolling through any shorts, so Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, and you're seeing more creators going ahead and saying, hey, let's talk about the elections. Let's talk about Trump. These people have already lost the battle. And, well, these people are actually getting paid. When Blue has messaged these people saying that they'll pay them $1,500 per video. Per video that's under 90 seconds long, either cheering Kamala Harris or bashing Trump. So, if you guys have been seeing a lot of those, that's why. And they're saying that Kamala Harris is winning on the internet. Thing is that these people do not generate any votes. They don't. The people that you go ahead and see being those internet warriors don't generate any votes. In fact, a lot of these people never voted in a day in their freaking life. A lot of these people are actually based in the United States. But, you know. Oh, all right. Yes, so I'll go ahead and message you after this. But what I want to talk about now is, what does Trump have to do? So, one, don't believe in the polls. Two, what Trump needs to do is go ahead and actually just be Trump. All right, he needs to go out there and paint that picture. Paint the picture that this is the most radical ticket that we've ever seen in U.S. politics, which is true, by the way. He has to paint that picture, and he'll be golden. He needs to talk about how Walz went ahead and basically legalized pedophilia in his state, where he went ahead and guess what? Where he went ahead and let the cities burn down. Now, what he needs to do for Kamala Harris, he needs to bring up every single policy that she ran on in 2020. That's all he needs to do. Hell, what he can also do when it comes to Kamala Harris, he can go ahead and talk about how she got her start in politics. And that's it. That's all he has to freaking do, and he will win this election. That's all he has to do. He wins this election by going ahead, running on policy, exposing Kamala Harris and Tim Walz for the people that they are. That's all. That's all he has to do. He just has to show the radicalization of these fucking people. And he will win. That simple. That's it. It just has to go like, well, Kamala Harris said that she was going to ban fracking and now she doesn't. Kamala Harris stole my idea on don't tax tips. It's weird that she went ahead and did that when she was the tie-breaking vote on taxing the tips. So there's that. Now, another thing that he needs to go ahead and point out is what Kamala Harris is going to be bringing to the Senate tomorrow. That is the so-called price gouging bill. Really? Kamala Harris wants communism. You can paint that picture right there. Because there are only 3 forms. There's only 3. 3 forms of government that will actually set the prices for things. That is communism, socialism, and a dictatorship. Those are the 3. If she says that, well, I don't want communism, I don't want socialism, well, she didn't deny that she wants to be a dictator. That's all he needs to do. Trump paints that picture of Kamala Harris. Election's over. That's all he needs to do. Matter of fact, he can also send J.D. Vance to say that stuff as well. Quite frankly, I'm ready to see what happens. Now, I do want to make this brief announcement for y'all. So on the 19th, I will have Ken Carson back on the podcast. We will be celebrating 30 days of Kamala Harris not answering a fucking question. So we'll be talking about that on the 19th. Matter of fact, I believe the DNC is going on at that time. I'm big fucking whoop, am I right? I believe Biden is the keynote speaker that day. Yeah, Biden's the keynote speaker that day, and they want to go ahead and have Joe Biden be celebrated during the DNC and how he's such a strong and patriotic leader. So we might be covering that as well, but quite frankly, I'm not going to be drunk enough to go ahead and watch that. But no, we're going to be celebrating 30 days of Kamala Harris not answering a freaking question. So be on the lookout for that. That is coming to you on Monday. Saturday, I might try to go live with some congressional candidates for y'all. I will be at an event where we're going to have 4 congressional candidates. It's one of them does include Kim Klacik. So we'll try to go live with Kim Klacik for just a little bit, just to see how y'all are doing. Now, as always, I do like to go ahead and end on a historical quote. So, let me get that pulled up for y'all right here. This historical quote is going to be by the great Mark Twain, one of my favorite freaking writers of all time. So, the very ink with which history is written is merely fluid prejudice. The very ink with which history is written is merely fluid prejudice. That's by Mark Twain. Thank you all, and God bless.